Ooh, that's a fail. Hello, everyone. It's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. I wish I could edit that one out. I might edit that one out later. Is what it is. Life. Shit happens. So I've been hearing a lot about the Michelle Wolf bit, her White House Correspondents' Dinner thing. Everywhere I turn, I'm seeing something about this. Either Twitter, Facebook, somebody's talking about it. So, I haven't watched it yet. And like most things, I'm going to watch it with my audience. So, I don't know if my audience has watched this yet. I am hoping this is going to be fun. Hell, blaze one if you got one, if you want to have a damn good time on this. It sounds like she did a remarkable job. I don't necessarily know if that's good or bad, because some people say, oh my God, she went too far. Other people say it's awesome. I'm not one of those people who typically get, I guess, offended by something somebody says. I know people are like, oh my God, I was hurt by that particular thing. I don't know what her act was. I've heard some lefties say they loved it. So I'm going to watch this act. I'm going to hope that my audience joins me in watching this. And I hope you guys enjoy it. And hopefully we can have a good time watching Michelle Wolf do her thing. All right, so I'm going to use C-SPANs. Let's watch.
All right, this is long. This has been long. Yeah. Good evening. Good evening. Here we are, the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Like a porn star says when she's about to have sex with a Trump, let's get this over with. Yep, kiddos, this is here getting tonight. I'm going to skip a lot of the normal pleasantries. We're at a Hilton. It's not nice. This is on C-SPAN. No one watches that. Trump is president. It's not ideal. White House Correspondents Association, thank you for having me. The monkfish was fine. And just a reminder to everyone, I'm here to make jokes. I have no agenda. I'm not trying to get anything accomplished. So everyone that's here from Congress, you should feel right at home. Now, before we get too far, a little bit about me. A lot of you might not know who I am. I'm 32 years old, which is an odd age. 10 years too young to host this event, and 20 years too old for Roy Moore. I know, he almost got elected. Yeah. It was fun. It was fun. Honestly, I never really thought I'd be a
So far, I find these are introductory jokes, and I know they're introductory jokes, but if her jokes are going to continue this way, she is going directly at the establishment. Like, this is entirely aimed at media and politics. You guys are worthless. You guys don't do your jobs. And the media, for the most part, just, sits around with their thumb up their ass. Let's keep watching. I'm digging this so far. Just keep going.
Comedian, but I did take an aptitude test in 7th grade, and this is 100% true. I took an aptitude test in 7th grade, and it said my best profession was a clown or a mime. Well, at first it said clown, and then it heard my voice and was like, or maybe mime. Think about mime. And I know, as much as some of you might want me to, it's 2018, and I am a woman, so you cannot shut me up. Unless you have Michael Cohen wire me $130,000. Michael, you can find me on Venmo under my porn star name, Reince Priebus. Reince just gave a thumbs up. Okay. Now, people are saying America is more divided than ever. But I think no matter what you support politically, we can all agree that this is a great time for craft stores. Because of all the protests, poster board has been flying off the shelves faster than Robert Mueller can say, you've been subpoenaed. And thanks to Trump, pink yarn sales are through the roof. After Trump got elected, women started knitting those pussy hats. When I first saw them, I was like, that's a pussy? I guess mine just has a lot more yarn on it.
Oh my God. She's doing pussy jokes. She's doing pussy jokes at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. These people with their tight asses. And she's like, those are pussy hats? I guess my pussy as well. The fact that she's dropping, wow, that's amazing. Let's keep going. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. Should have done more research before you got me to do this. Now, there is a lot to cover tonight. There's a lot to go over. I can't get to everything. I know there's a lot of people that want me to talk about Russia and Putin and collusion, but I'm not going to do that because there's also a lot of liberal media here, and I've never really wanted to know what any of you look like when you orgasm. Except for maybe you, Jake Tapper. I bet it's something like this. Okay, that's all the time we have.
Oh, man. Oh, Jake Tapper. I love that. I always make this joke that these guys with their plastic faces, because they stand there with this look in their... It's a practice look into the camera. It's like, what's the look where you're most comfortable? And then you have all these people looking at you, so you're just giving the look that you think this is the most practiced way. This is my mask. Who I am and everything else is somewhat under this mask, but I can have this mask for the American public as I do my story. Oh, God, I love this. This is so hilarious. This is hilarious. And then, you know, there's a meta-narrative on top of this of, this is not just her doing her act in a nightclub in Brooklyn. This is her in the White House Correspondents' Dinner. The President of the United States would typically be sitting right there with her. And she is wrecking this place. This is awesome. She's saying, except Jake Tapper. I love it. Oh, God.
Crazy that the Trump campaign was in contact with Russia when the Hillary campaign wasn't even in contact with Michigan. It's a direct flight. It's so close. Of course, Trump isn't here, if you haven't noticed. He's not here. And I know I would drag him here myself, but it turns out the President of the United States is the one pussy you're not allowed to grab. He said it first. Yeah, he did. You remember? Good. Now, I know people really want me to go after Trump tonight, but I think we should give the president credit when he deserves it. Like, he pulled out of the Paris Agreement, and I think he should get credit for that because he said he was going to pull out, and then he did, and that's a refreshing quality in a man. Most men are like, I forgot. I'll get you next time. Oh, there's going to be a next time? When people say romance is dead.
I can't believe this is her act. Oh, this is amazing. I don't know. Look, some people may not remember Stephen Colbert. Stephen Colbert did one of these, and Stephen Colbert knocked it through the roof. The man was amazing. It was one of the best performances I think I've ever seen at one of these. This is a good performance, but in a different way. It's a good performance in a... I'm going to make all of you as uncomfortable as I can possibly make you by talking about this stuff in the most vulgar way. She did a joke about Jake Tapper orgasming. I'm trying to get across where we are. She's done jokes about pussy hair, saying she has more pussy hair than that. This is amazing. This is amazing. Oh, God, this is hilarious. There's an extra bit of humor for this because I guess in my head I'm having this feeling of, what are the people there thinking as she plowed through this and go balls out into this act? She's just did a joke about a man having sex with a woman and forgetting to pull out, saying, I'll get you next time. Jesus Christ. Let's keep going.
Trump names all the time. And look, I could call Trump a racist or a misogynist or xenophobic or unstable or incompetent or impotent. But he's heard all of those and he doesn't care. So tonight, I'm going to try to make fun of the president in a new way, in a way that I think will really get him. Mr. President, I don't think you're very rich. Like, I think you might be rich in Idaho, but in New York, you're doing fine. Trump is the only person that still watches Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and thinks, me. Although I'm not sure you'd get very far. He'd get to like the third question and be like, I have to phone a Fox and friend. We're gonna try a fun new thing, okay? I'm gonna say Trump is so broke, and you guys go, how broke is he? All right? Trump is so broke. How broke is he? He has to fly failed business class. Trump is so broke. How broke is he? He looked for foreign oil in Don Jr.'s hair. Trump is so broke. How broke is he? Southwest used him as one of their engines. I know, it's so soon. It's so soon for that joke. Why did she tell it? It's so soon. Trump is so broke. He had to borrow money from the Russians, and now he's compromised and not susceptible to blackmail and possibly responsible for the collapse of the Republic. Yay! It's a fun game. Trump is racist, though. He loves white nationalists, which is a weird term for a Nazi. Calling a Nazi a white nationalist is like calling a pedophile a kid friend. Or Harvey Weinstein a ladies' man. Which isn't really fair. He also likes plants. Trump's also an idea guy. He's got loads of ideas. You gotta love him for that. He wants to give teachers guns, and I support that, because then they can sell them for things they need, like supplies. A lot of protractors. A lot of people want Trump to be impeached. I do not, because just when you think Trump is awful, you remember Mike Pence. Mike Pence is what happens when Anderson Cooper isn't gay. Mike Pence is...
I have no idea. I have no idea what that means, but that's fucking hilarious. I have no idea what she's talking about. Like, Mike Pence is what happens when Anderson Cooper is not gay. What does that mean? I have no idea what that means. And yet, it's hilarious. Yeah, it's hilarious. Humanity, man. Human beings are fucking hilarious. But that being said, two things that I like. Pointing out that, hey, the idea with teachers and guns is fucking ridiculous. That's stupid. And teachers already have a hard time not having access to the things that they need, and so they can sell those guns to actually buy things that they need, because you're depriving teachers of the resources they need to do their class, do their work. That's the first part I like. What happens when Anderson Cooper is not gay? I do like the fact that she makes this point of Mike Pence is fucking terrifying. It's like, what are you lefties or you Democrats talking about? You guys are trying to take Trump out. Do you know who's standing behind Donald Trump? Mike Pence is terrifying. I would argue that he's worse than Trump. Let's keep going. She's sitting on this point.
He's the kind of guy that brushes his teeth and then drinks orange juice and thinks, Mike Pence is also very anti-choice. He thinks abortion is murder, which, first of all, don't knock it till you try it. And when you do try it, really knock it. You know, you got to get that baby out of there. And yeah, sure, you can groan all you want. I know a lot of you are very anti-abortion, you know, unless it's the one you got for your secret mistress.
Yes, yes. This woman is hilarious. She's, you know, the wild part about this is, I often think that the values that people have are usually just, they're given to them purely by the society and what's available to them, or what's, for example, it's like, yeah, you can be pretty anti-abortion until you get to the point of, holy shit, I got this woman pregnant by accident. All right, I'm anti-abortion for everybody else, and I really hate myself for this time, but you got to get that baby out, because if my wife finds out, my political career is over. Fucking awesome. Love it. Let's keep going. She said, I know a lot of you are anti-abortion and all, but don't knock it till you try it.
How values can waver. But good for you. Mike Pence is a weirdo, though. He's a weird little guy. He won't meet with other women without his wife present. When people first heard this, they were like, that's crazy. But now in this current climate, they're like, that's a good witness. Which, of course, brings me to the Me Too movement. It's probably the reason I'm here. They were like, a woman's probably not going to jerk off in front of anyone, right? And to that I say, don't count your chickens. There's a lot of parties. Now, I've worked in a lot of male-dominated fields. Before comedy, I worked at a tech company, and before that, I worked on Wall Street. And honestly, I've never really been sexually harassed. That being said, I did work at Bear Stearns in 2008. So although I haven't been sexually harassed, I've definitely been fucked. Yeah, that whole company went down on me without my consent. And no men got in trouble for that one either. No, things are changing.
Just the ad, she's just on a pussy joke. God, I love this. 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 They're a tight little bubble. And their ass is like clenching up. I love this. She is hilarious. She's fucking hilarious. She said, that company went down on me without my permission. I love that. Oh, I love it.
Men are being held accountable. You know, Al Franken was ousted. That one really hurt liberals. But I believe it was the great Ted Kennedy who said, wow, that's crazy. I murdered a woman. Chappaquiddick in theaters now. I did have a lot of jokes. I had a lot of jokes about cabinet members, but I had to scrap all of those because everyone has been fired. You guys are going through cabinet members quicker than Starbucks throws out black people. No, don't worry. They're having an afternoon. That'll solve it. We just needed an afternoon. Mitch McConnell isn't here tonight. He had a prior engagement. He's finally getting his neck circumcised. Mazel. Paul Ryan also couldn't make it. Of course, he's already been circumcised. Unfortunately, while they were down there, they also took his balls. Yeah, bye, Paul. Great acting, though, in that video. Now, Republicans are easy to make fun of. You know, it's like shooting fish in a Chris Christie. But I also want to make fun of Democrats. Democrats are harder to make fun of because you guys don't do anything. People think you might flip the House and Senate this November, but you guys always find a way to mess it up. You're somehow going to lose by 12 points to a guy named Jeff Pedophile Nazi Doctor.
She said Republicans are easy to make fun of, but you guys don't do anything. You guys are worthless. She said you're going to lose to a pedophile because they almost lost a pedophile. She's right. Fuck, that's embarrassing. That's so embarrassing. How do you nearly lose to a pedophile? How do you nearly lose to a pedophile?
We should definitely talk about the women in the Trump administration. There's Kellyanne Conway. Man, she has the perfect last name for what she does. Conway. It's like if my name was Michelle Jokes, frizzy hair, small tits. You guys gotta stop putting Kellyanne on your shows. All she does is lie. If you don't give her a platform, she has nowhere to lie. It's like that old saying, if a tree falls in the woods, how do we get Kellyanne under that tree?
Come on. That's fucking hilarious. She said all she does. I think for me, it's optics. It's the way she's saying these jokes also. She's just kind of just belting them out, just one after the next. And she was like, she just lies. If you don't give her a platform to lie, she has nowhere to lie. If a tree falls in the forest, and I thought she was going to say if a tree falls in the forest, if Kellyanne Conway is in the forest. Oh man, she's hilarious. She is so hilarious. Let's keep going.
I'm not suggesting she gets hurt, just stuck. Stuck under a tree. Incidentally, a tree falls in the woods is Scott Pruitt's definition of porn. Yeah, we all have our kinks. There's also, of course, Ivanka. She was supposed to be an advocate for women, but it turns out she's about as helpful to women as an empty box of tampons. She's done nothing to satisfy women. So I guess, like father, like daughter. Oh, you don't think he's good in bed. Come on. She does clean up nice, though. Ivanka cleans up nice. She's the diaper genie of the administration. On the outside, she looks sleek, but the inside, it's still full of shit. And of course, we have Sarah Huckabee Sanders. We are graced with Sarah's presence tonight. I have to say, I'm a little starstruck. I love you as Aunt Lydia on The Handmaid's Tale. Mike Pence, if you haven't seen it, you would love it. Every time Sarah steps up to the podium, I get excited because I'm not really sure what we're gonna get. You know, a press briefing, a bunch of lies, or divided into softball teams. It's shirts and skins, and this time don't be such a little bitch, Jim Acosta.
I gotta be honest, that's brutal. I have to be honest, that is so brutal. That's brutal. I'm watching this and I'm like, ouch. Yeah, that's kind of brutal. Now, I put it this way. There's a thing in my head, and this is on me on this one. There's a thing in my head that I did as a kid that plagues me to this day that I feel extraordinarily sorry about. And because I feel extraordinarily sorry about, I am seeing the reflection of this in what's taking place here. And it is fucking with me from a disposition that I don't think I would typically have. Meaning, I understand where her jokes are coming from. She's making this point of like, you guys are in this administration, and this guy and the Republican Party is doing certain things, especially from the standpoint of abortion rights and those type of things, that are antagonistic towards particular aims. Now, you can say those aims are on the left. I would say those aims are run the gamut from environmental and everything else. But if you're just talking about women's rights, Republican Party is not the party of women's rights. Let's just say it that way. And she's saying, you're up here pushing for this administration, and you're the mouthpiece of this particular administration, which makes her somewhat fair game for saying that you're spouting a bunch of nonsense. When the first guy, I can't think of his name, came out and said Donald Trump says that these were the largest crowds for a presentation, it's nonsense. It was utter nonsense. It was the dumbest thing that I think I've ever heard a White House press person say, and yet he said it and stood by it. Spicer, and got indignant, Spicer, and got indignant about it. When people pushed back on it, was like, come on, dude, certainly you understand that these weren't the biggest crowds. These were the largest crowds, the president said. Give me $1, I'll say whatever you need me to say. So she's hitting her for this. And Kellyanne Conway, yeah, Kellyanne Conway has gotten, the woman spews nonsense. The woman spews nonsense. I've seen it on more than one occasion. I'm not saying that each and everything that she's ever said was nonsense. I'm just saying I've seen it on more than one occasion her spew nonsense. Now, I say that to say, it makes it to some degree fair game to point out the fact that these people are spewing nonsense. So fair enough. It comes across brutal to me. Now, what I mean by brutal to me, and this is me being somewhat of a pussy on this, when I was a kid, I was, I think it was in high school. I was about high school. And there was these guys who was making fun of this other person and just ragging on them, like complete ragging on them. Funniest shit in the world. And we're walking by, and I'm telling somebody, I'm repeating the story to somebody else because somebody asked what they were talking about. And apparently I'm repeating this loud enough, being somewhat excitable, because just in what I am. And I see the look of somebody in the crowd looking directly at me with this look on her face, with this kind of like anguish. I have no idea what she's looking at me in this way for. I find out years later that that person is the exact person who they were talking about. And I've just given that person information that somebody was ragging on her and got across everything that the person was saying, taking her down. Oh, I felt horrible for that. I felt absolutely horrible. Now, watching this video and seeing her make those jokes, and I'm like, that's fucking hilarious. And then they show Kellyanne Conway's face in the crowd, like, and it's like, ugh, yeah, that's kind of brutal. You just call that woman a flaming liar. And then Sarah Sanders is sitting in the video on stage, essentially is now taking this. Not to mention, from her angle, how difficult is it for her to get up there? And I didn't mean to stop on that one. But how difficult is it for her to do this? She's standing right there looking at her, and she's taking these jokes and just joke after joke after joke and just club it in her. It's a tough performance. That was all I'm saying. It's a tough performance.
I actually really like Sarah. I think she's very resourceful. Like, she burns facts, and then she uses that ash to create a perfect smoky eye. Like, maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's lies. It's probably lies. And I'm never really sure what to call Sarah Huckabee Sanders. You know, is it Sarah Sanders?
Wait, I don't think people are going to know what that means. It depends on the audience. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. That used to be a commercial. I mean, God, she's showing her age. I'm showing my age. That's a commercial they used to play on. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's lies. Oh, that's brutal. This is brutal. It's fucking hilarious.
Sanders? Is it Sarah Huckabee Sanders? Is it cousin Huckabee? Is it Auntie Huckabee Sanders? Like, what's Uncle Tom but for white women who disappoint other white women? Oh, I know, Aunt Coulter. We've got our friends at CNN here. Welcome, guys. It's great to have you. You guys love...
Wait, I need to put a pin in that. She called her an Uncle Tom for women to disappoint other white women. Fuck, man. Jesus Christ. She is awesome. Oh, man. She's brutal. She's brutal. That's so brutal. That is so brutal.
Breaking news. And you did it. You broke it. Good work. The most useful information on CNN is when Anthony Bourdain tells me where to eat noodles. Fox News is here, so you know what that means, ladies. Cover your drinks. Seriously. People want me to make fun of Sean Hannity tonight, but I cannot do that. This dinner's for journalists. We've got MSNBC here. MSNBC's new slogan is, "This is who we are." Guys, it's not a good slogan. This is who we are is what your mom thinks the sad show on NBC is called. Did you watch This Is Who We Are this week? Someone left on a crock pot and everyone died. I watch Morning Joe every morning. We now know that Mika and Joe are engaged. Congratulations, you guys. It's like when a Me Too works out. We also, Rachel Maddow, we cannot forget about Rachel Maddow. She's the Peter Pan of MSNBC. But instead of never growing up, she never gets to the point. Watching Rachel Maddow is like going to Target. You went in for milk, but you left with shampoo, candles, and the entire history of the Byzantine Empire. I didn't need this. And of course, Megyn Kelly. What would I do without Megyn Kelly? You know, probably be more proud of women. Megyn Kelly got paid $23 million by NBC. Then NBC didn't let Megyn go to the Winter Olympics. Why not? She's so white, cold, and expensive, she might as well be the Winter Olympics. And by the way, Megyn, Santa's black. The weird old guy going through your chimney was Bill O'Reilly. You might want to put a flu on it or something. There's a lot of print media here. There's a ton of you guys, but I'm not going to go after print media tonight because it's illegal to attack an endangered species. Buy newspapers. There's a ton of news right now. A lot is going on, and we have all these 24-hour news networks. And we could be covering everything. But instead, we're covering like 3 topics. Every hour, it's Trump, Russia, Hillary, and a panel of 4 people that remind you why you don't go home for Thanksgiving. Milk comes from nuts now, all because of the gays. You guys are obsessed with Trump. Did you used to date him? Because you pretend like you hate him, but I think you love him. I think what no one in this room wants to admit is that Trump has helped all of you. He couldn't sell steaks or vodka or water or college or ties or Eric. But he has helped you. He's helped you sell your papers and your books and your TV. You helped create this monster, and now you're profiting off of him. And if you're gonna profit off of Trump, you should at least give him some money because he doesn't have any. Trump is so broke, he grabs pussies because he thinks there might be loose change in them. All right, like an immigrant who was brought here by his parents and didn't do anything wrong. I gotta get the fuck out of here. Good night. Flint still doesn't have clean water.
If I wasn't married, I'd take that woman to be my wife. I fucking love that act. It's almost as if she intentionally went there with the sole purpose of being acerbic. And what I mean by that is, she in this act, she talked about pussy hats. She talked about herself having hairy pussies, saying that those pussies didn't have much hair on them. That by itself is mind-blowing. She talked about a guy not pulling out, because most guys don't necessarily pull out, and apologize for not pulling out. Making a joke on this, talking about the pulling out. Talking about Bear Stearns went down on her without their permission, making a pussy eating joke on that one. In another case, but by the same token, she's also bringing Flint doesn't have clean water. You guys, 24 hours of coverage, Flint doesn't have clean water. Pointing out that, Democrats aren't doing anything. You guys are magnificently getting rich off of Donald Trump. Regardless of how much you say you hate him, you are getting rich off of Donald Trump. The Republican Party is doing bad shit. The Democratic Party isn't doing squat, and the media isn't necessarily telling the truth. I love it. What could I hate about it? Thing is, I think the reason they hate this act so much is A, because like I said, she was vulgar intentionally. She seemed to have done it intentionally. It's like, you guys are in your perfectly dressed outfits, the thousands of dollars that you spend around, you guys are in the media rubbing arms with the political establishment and everything else. You're supposed to be holding them accountable. You guys are schmoozing and rubbing arms and everything else. And you guys are covering ridiculousness. And she was being as lewd as she could possibly be, while at the same token adding in these things of, you guys are failing at your job. You guys are failing at your job. You guys are failing at your job. I loved it. I loved it. I know some people may have taken issue with the lewdness of it, but like I said, I think she's doing that intentionally. I mean, this was fucking hilarious. This is absolutely hilarious. They do lie. They don't give you the full context. They often leave stuff out, like the Flint water thing. They still don't have clean water in Flint, and yet that doesn't seem to be a big deal to 24-hour news. She's right. She's absolutely right. My heart, in a weird way, I felt this thing of this pain of empathy for what's her name while this was taking place. But her act, she wasn't wrong on her act. Best cut Christy joke into Christy ice cream. Did you see that? Right. So there was a scene. I don't want to cut into it again, but Christy is like, they get a picture of Christy with a fork in his mouth. It's like, that's awesome. That's awesome. It's like, what are the chances of getting a fork with Christy with a fork in his mouth? It's awesome. Belt is on 228. When one comedian tells more truth in a room in 19 minutes than the entire room has in 2 years, and before mainstream media lawsuits, when you lead with your lawsuits. Do you know that The Hill said that they're not going to be going to the dinner anymore? It's pussies. Really pussies. That woman was awesome. That woman was absolutely awesome. Michelle Wolf. Good job. Good job. Yes, I mean, it's one of those things where you cringe a little bit because somebody's like, ooh, that's... But then you start, like, it's funny on top of funny. It's like there's a meta-narrative onto it. It's not just the jokes. She's not telling these jokes in an empty theater. She's telling these jokes in front of, the White House press corps and all this other stuff. And she's talking about sex, dicks, pussies, going down on, like, she is being lewd, like, an entire part. But she is zinging them, each of them, like, in the areas that these guys are supposed to be their jobs. I love it. Absolutely love it. It was awesome. Cheryl Brandon. Michelle Wolf kicked ass arses and used language to confront the hypocrisy of the press collusion with the government. Well done, Michelle. There's another thing of this. Saying what something is. Calling a lie a lie. Like this thing of, it seems that the president is not telling the full truth about this. He lied. He lied. Like, it's one of those things. She's also using those terms in these harsh language to get across that reality is taking place. And you guys are not necessarily giving people the reality. I love it. I love it. I love it. The more I see it, the better I love it. So, I'm going to end this here. Not more I see it. I haven't seen it before. But still, this was awesome. This was awesome. Good job, Michelle. Good job. It was simultaneously a rough crowd and a bunch of pussies at the same time. It was, right? It's like you would have them kind of be annoyed, but the best that they could do is just give her a bad look, like asshole. Yeah. They probably had some feelings about her, but they weren't going to say anything. I'm curious to see if anybody said anything to her afterwards, because that's a brutal thing. And they're sitting on stage, like with some of the people she's ribbing. Like, those people were in the room. She talked about Jake Tapper having an orgasm. I mean, shit, man. Oh, God. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. Jonathan Wood Renshaw. Who else saw Jimmy Dore, Joe Rogan interview Supercut? I haven't seen that one. Well, I did see the Joe Rogan, Jimmy Dore interview, but this was a while back. This was like a month or so ago. This was a month or so ago. Let's see. Everything she said is true. Everything she said was true, yeah. Lori, yeah, agreed. Absolutely agree. All right. I'm going to end this here. This was awesome. This was awesome. She did an amazing job, man. I loved it. So, if you guys enjoy the content, please feel free to share, like, subscribe, and of course, you can always support through Patreon. Thanks, everyone. Y'all have a good night.